Hello everyone, Nova here, and today I'm going to be taking you through yet another Force of Will deck profile video. Today is Brunhild. And before I get too much sidetracked, I don't know how I've tried doing this introduction like 20 times and I can't do it properly. So this is kind of, you got the raw deal of it all. So the way I'm just trying to do these deck profiles is just kind of show you guys that you can start getting into this game. Like as of right now, the new Dawn Rises deck profile just came out, like let's say about a month ago almost, and I want to show you guys that you can actually start playing this game with what's in those and the new cluster. Like you don't have to go out, you don't have to make sure you already have all the old cards and so forth in order to be able to play this game. You can just do it with what you have. So if you went out, you bought one of your, for example, a starter deck. Let's say this example is the light deck, you know, got Brunhilde and went out, got a couple of boxes, and kind of this is a little bit of that deck profile of what you can do with the new stuff, and that you can still have fun and enjoy playing it. You might not necessarily be extremely competitive with it, but it gives you a good backbone in order to be able to go out there, learn about the game, and be able to play. So with that aside, I have to apologize to all of our users, as I have been meaning to do this for a while. And it's a little bit of a surprise. I've been meaning to do it for a while, and I always forgot in the videos. So without further ado, and before I forget, here is surprise number one. Bam. Hopefully you guys can go ahead and scan that code. If not, I'm gonna bring it up just a little bit closer. Right there, bam, that's surprise number one. 3 more surprises to go. Surprise number 2, here we go. Scan that in. Surprise number 3, and the final surprise for y'all. Okay, now all that introduction and that terrible introduction is out of the way, we're gonna go through and explain this deck. Brunhilde, she is obviously a light ruler. Her judgment cost is 4. When you flip her over, as always, a fantastic art. She is 1200 attack, 1200 defense, so she's quite beefy for a J ruler. And, well, I mean, quite beefy for most generators in general. Okay, when she enters, pull a target resonator from your graveyard into the field. When this card enters the field, perform the effect. So let's keep that in mind. I'm gonna brush it off aside for now and kind of go through the deck, and then I'll be going through a little bit of profiles and strategies. So number 1, what we have is 4 of the Acolytes of the Sun. There are 1 cost, they're 200. However, you can tap them to produce light, so they're an extra source of light for you on top of your stones. On top of on top of your resting your ruler in order to tap for a stone. Next up, we have Skuld, Valkyrie of the Future. This card is a 2 cost. Whenever this card attacks, it produces light. So 2 cost, 600, 500. It's not the best. However, never mind. I wanted to say it gets bonuses, but it does not. I will explain bonuses in a second here. Next up, we have a human resonator. It is a cost of 2, Commander of Minerva. She's 600. The best thing about this card is she gets first strike. Other J resonators you control gain first strike, which is fantastic. First strike basically means if I'm attacking with this card at 600, and I attack a resonator, which is, let's say, 800 attack, 600 defense, because I have first strike, I am able to deal that damage, kill that resonator before it can actually touch me. So 4 of those cards, 4 of these cards, in case I forgot to mention it. So that's 4. Next up for a 2 cost is we have Angel of Clairvoyance. This is a flying. Whenever it enters, you get to foresee the top card of your deck. Now, ideally, you want to foresee more cards, because what foresee lets you do is be able to look at number of cards you're able to foresee. Put one at the top of your deck and the others at the bottom. However, if you guys have suggestions on what I can switch out for this card, it'd be greatly appreciated. But the best way to kind of play this card is, okay, I'm going to play this card. It's a 2 cost, 500, 600. It's an angel. It can potentially get buffs from some of the cards I'll be showing you in a second. So I play it. I foresee the top card. And if I foresee the top card, it lets me decide, how do I want to play this turn? Do I want to play aggressively because I know I'm going to be able to get something else next turn, or defensively because I know I'm not going to have anything good next turn? I kind of skipped over one, but forgot, so that's 4 cards of the angel. And then we have Eritron, Angel of Knowledge. We have 4 of these ones. They're 200. She's a 200 angel. Whenever she enters the field, look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal an angel resonator from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest of the bottom of your deck in a random order. This is a good card in order to be able to quickly rummage to the top of your deck, be able to pull out an angel and put it into your hand. It lets you have more playabilities and more strategies than just having the cards that you have in your hand. Sorry, rather than just looking at the cards you have in your hand. It lets you have a little bit more flexibility. Next up, for a cost of 2, and here are the buffs that I was talking about. So we have 3 cards, 3 additions. Moonlit Paradise, Lunar Heavens. Angels you control gain 200. It is a cost of 2. It is quite cheap, and basically 200 for all angels. So that's why this deck is heavily angel based, in order to be able to pull angels out easily with the this card right here, with the being able to look 4 cards into your top of your deck. And the only issue with angels is they're not the strongest. They're decent, but they're not the strongest. So because of that, we have 3 Country of the Sun, Minerva. It is an addition. Resonators you control gain eternal during your turn. So during my turn, I can do whatever I want. I cannot be killed. So 3 of these. Let's say you're not having your luck and you're not really drawing the resonators quickly enough. What you can do, and what I have done, is I have 2 of these. I have Haggith, Angel of Alchemy, another angel. Search your deck for an addition, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. So it lets you refresh your deck, because as with this one right here, you're kind of pulling 4 cards, you're putting 3 at the bottom of your deck. This lets you reshuffle your deck a little bit. Okay, next up we have Phaleg, the Angel of War. It is a 3-cost angel. It's 800. It's decent. It's cost 3, flying, quick cast, and first strike. What quick cast lets me do is, for example, if it's my opponent's turn and I have 3 stones available, I can actually quick cast it when I have priority on his turn, which is quite nice. So I don't have to play it. I can always keep it in my hand and be like, okay, well, you're going to do something, you're going to attack me. You know what? I have the opportunity to quick cast. Bam, I'm going to play this and be able to block with it. So 4 of these cards, 2 of the Haggiths. Next up, we have Valkyrie of Mercy. Put target resonator with total cost of 2 or less from your graveyard into the field. This is nice in order to be able to pull something out, something like the Commander of Minerva. Why? Because it has first strike. Or if you want, let's go ahead and pull out a couple of, like an Acolyte. Why? Because I want to be able to produce light. And because it goes straight into the field when I play this card, so I can pull out an Acolyte, basically produce a light with an Acolyte, and essentially the cost of this card became 2, and I played 2 resonators for the cost of 2. So essentially, and then you have the Acolyte, basically either they can bypass it and deal damage to you directly, or they can force, because it's tapped, they can directly attack into it. Or you can pull something like this, which is a little bit stronger. Whenever this card attacks, it produces light, and it's 600, 500. So yeah, or I can play the foresee one. So again, I get to foresee. If I want to do something like that, I can easily foresee it. So I have 4 of the Valkyrie. So I'm just gonna keep these a little bit separate for a second. And then the big card, the last 4 cards of the deck are Ophiel, Angel of Guidance. I'm gonna put it side by side. This is an alt art. Unfortunately, I don't have any full arts. I only have the alt art, but from what I can't complain too much. As I recently found out that this card is actually worth quite a bit of money. It's not quite like on the verge of expensive as a Magic the Gathering cards, but it's pretty good. So, this card, whenever it enters the field, search your deck for an angel, non-named Ophiel, Angel of Guidance, with a total cost of X, where X is the number of light runes revealed from your deck, and put it into the field. So, for example, if I play this card, I can look, and if I only have one rune, I can look for this angel, and I can again look at the top 4 cards of my deck and put it. Or I can play this angel or the Foresee angel. That's about it. I think the best angel to play, and what a lot of strategy has been, actually look at the top 4 cards. So this works quite well. Or the other option is you can actually pull Haggath out, and that lets you look for an addition. So not only do you get, for the cost of 5, do you get to play a field, do you get to play another resonator, but you also potentially get to get another angel, or potentially get to get an additional card in your hand, which is quite nice. And if you have the runes for it, fantastic. You get to play everything. So let's go on to divinities before I get into strategies, even though I've kind of delved a little bit into strategies. Divinity cost, this divinity cost of 2. The first rune we're looking at is a cost of 1. It is a quick cast. You may pay 2 less for this card. From the rune area, you gain 800 health. Pretty nice, cannot complain. Next up, we have Ceramic Reversal for a cost of 2. If damage would be dealt to a target jet resonator you control, it is dealt to your opponent instead. It is a quick cast, very nice to have. Put target human with total cost of 2 or less from your graveyard into the field. I'm going to put this aside for a second because I want to explain it in a second here. Dispel for a cost of 1, quick cast, destroy target addition or gain 1,000 life. Self-explanatory. You get to decide what you want to do there. And then for a cost of 3, we have Odin's Judgment. Play this card only if your J rule is Brunhild or Brunhild Color of Spirit. Destroy all resonators. This card destroys all resonators on the field for both yourself and both your opponent. However, if you have something like the Eternal Edition, where all your resonators become eternal during your turn, you drop this, you clear the enemy's field of all resonators, yours are still alive. Back to pulling a target human. What I like to do is pull something like this back. Why? Because for a cost of 0, I get to put this guy back on the field. All my Jet Resonators get first strike. Or if you're really desperate for some light production, you get to pull for a 0 cost of 0. You pull this one back, you get to produce some light, which is quite nice. Be able to produce that light for an extra stone or, an extra ability. Okay, options. The Magic Stone deck is quite, because I'm running only Valhalla, the new Valhalla cluster. I have basically 4 stones of Magic Stone of Ominous. They produce light. These are kind of the only stones in this cluster that can produce any other color. So the way this works is I have to use 1 light and produce any color I want. So this is, for what I kind of foresee, I'm getting a little off topic, is that if you're going to run multicolored decks, with this card, you always want to have an Acolyte. Why? Because you can summon an Acolyte for a 1, you can produce light, and then I can use that light in order to create any stone, summon any stone, and then, 6 light magic stones. The regular stones, nothing fancy, nothing too spectacular. Okay, options for your rune deck. You have Ring of Legend for 1 cost. It is a quick cast, target Jade Resonator gains internal until the end of turn. So essentially, if I summon Brunhild, she cannot die. Rest all Jade Resonator your opponent controls. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to Jade Resonator your opponent controls until the end of the turn. This is a decent one because you get to rest all their Jade Resonators. The only issue is you also prevent the damage. If you guys have any ideas or suggestions on how to properly use this card, by all means, please drop a comment below. For a cost of 2, Brunhild's Wrath, destroy target rested Jade Resonator. So basically, the Resonator has to be rested in order to be able to destroy it. However, the backup card, so basically for a cost of 3, we do Bewilder, rest, target Jade Resonator. So we can quick cast that, and then during our turn, we can, bam, destroy it. So if, for example, if it's the opponent's turn, he's about to attack with the Jade Resonator, quick cast this to rest it, and then during my turn, I can kill it because it is rested. Options for side deck next. Now, the way side deck works, and I haven't really explained it in my past videos, is that 15 cards can be considered your side deck. So for example, whenever you place an opponent competitively, you normally play 3 matches. During the first match, if you lose like really badly and you say, okay, for example, I know this card, like for example, this card does not work really well. I don't want it, 4 cards. Let me look at my side deck and I can, for the second game, I can replace with cards from my side deck. So options for replacing some of the things, and the best way I can describe it is options that I have in my side deck would be for this card. So replacing Angel of Clairvoyance. I mean, it's flying, it's nice, 500, 600, its cost is cheap, but you know what? If I don't want that angel in there, I can go with Protection of the Angels. So play this card during your opponent's turn. Target Resonator gains 800, 800, and Barrier until the end of turn. Players cannot chase this card, which is the nice part. So basically what I do is play this. Target Jade Resonator gets 800, 800. They cannot chase it, which means they cannot do anything in order to negate this card or kill my Resonator or do anything else, which is quite nice. Another option is if you don't have your Eternal Edition out yet, for a cost of 2, you can, correction. You can either play this in your rune area. So this option works both as a chant or a rune. So I can either put this card in my rune area or in my actual deck. So for a cost of 2 from my deck, J Resonators you control gain 200, 200, and at the end of the next turn, recover this card until the end. So the way this works, and it was explained to me last night. So let's say I have Ophiel. I play this card for a cost of 2. Ophiel gets 1400, 1400 total attack and defense. I attack, it's rested. And then at the end of the turn, because of this card, Ophiel actually becomes unrested, ready to block for the next turn, which is quite nice. So I would say this might be a really good card to have as a backup in your rune area. Maybe run 3 in your actual deck. Next one is an angel. So for a cost of 2, maybe I don't want to foresee things. Maybe I just want to pull stuff from the top of my deck, be able to draw more cards. So for example, if I'm fighting somebody that's a discard deck heavy like Lucifer, maybe I want to sub this card in and make sure that whenever this card dies, I want to be able to pull more cards into my hand. That way I have consistently drawing cards and have more cards than the opponent can discard. So that's a viable option. And I think, I think that's kind of all the ideas right there. But if you guys have any suggestions or game plans or strategies or anything like that, please leave a comment below and let me know how I can actually improve this deck. This is kind of the version 1.0 of this deck, so it may be changing. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more play testing with it and see how it works. And if it works pretty well, then by all means, let's go ahead and try out. Now, I'm very excited to be trying more of this playtesting this deck, but for now, that's pretty much it. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like and comment below if you have any suggestions. I know I've said that way too many times, but it's just a reminder. Peace out, everybody, and have a great day.